Yes, you are. Through the doors you go.
Good
Now,
work
these are
for
the
an
doors
amateur.
of justice, don't
As
you
soon
know?
as they're in that sale, you can get yourself paid. The county thanks you for your service.
I was thinking about buying this game, says Wild Child.
Hello
Well,
there.
I'll tell you what, buying this game, my goodness, this game has been around now for 6 years. I say buy it. This is, aesthetically speaking, the best looking game of any game that there is out there. I don't care what it is. And as far as I'm concerned, it's got a gigantic map, bigger than most maps to play with. Everything is so realistic in the game, or at least it leans towards realistic. As far as games go, it's the most realistic game that there is out there in comparison to real life. But nonetheless, it's a game. All right, let's head on back to camp right here. I'll tell you what, I've tried many games, both before and after. There's a couple of games that I've liked, but this one is over the top for me. This is a magnificent game, in my opinion. So, yeah, this is a cool game. It's a cool game, and it's not cartoonish, if you know what I'm saying. Let's see. Well, okay. Well, Logan, you should come on in and play with us sometime. I don't know whether you're on Xbox or not, but if you are, you could join in over on Twitch, and you could actually play sometime. Yeah, I mean, and you know what? And you know what, Logan? Women love this game, and one of the reasons why they love it is because of the horses. They like to be able to ride the horses. They like to be able to, lead the horses, pet them, feed them, brush them, design them however they like, fancy tails and manes. They just like everything about it. They do. And we even have a dog in the game. If you like dogs, you can have your own camp dog. Yeah, you can pet the dog. You can have one dog or another dog. It doesn't matter. There's all kinds of different things that you can do in this game. Yeah, it's an amazing game. There is no doubt. And what shocks me the most is, how little attention that Rockstar has given this game from about the 2.5 year point on. That's what blows my mind completely. It doesn't make good business sense to do what they have done to this game. It just doesn't. Now, you can make the argument all you want that GTA is their cash cow, and you're absolutely right. But the fact of the matter is that, there's room to have both. There's room to have the cash cow, and there's room to have the most aesthetically perfect game of any game that's ever been created. You can have that too. Because here's the point. The point is this game hasn't had any attention from Rockstar in about 3 years. And the fact of the matter is it's still considered the number 7 selling game in the world. So if you can do that with as little attention that Rockstar has paid to this game, imagine if they had paid just some attention to it over these last 3 or 3+ years. Imagine the following that it would have. Imagine the number of people that would be still in this game. It would be spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. I can't rave enough about this game. I am so absolutely pro Red Dead Redemption 2. It's just amazing. Now, I don't particularly care for the story, although I've played it, but the online, that's where it's at. Yeah, it is sad that they have. Now, this is what I'm looking for. Azalea. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the idea that Rockstar will take and finally get that damn GTA 6 finished for all of those people are out there that are neurotic and that are manic, and get them gone, and then come back over the next few months, or who knows, maybe more, and come in and give us a DLC. And if they gave us a DLC, people would swarm back into this game. Now, why wouldn't they? Let's suppose that they've got GTA 6 finished. Let's say that it's already published. They're going to keep a certain crew on hand, readily and available, in order to go in and do any maintenance and repairs that they need. But it's not going to take the entire team to do that. So send some people back over here, create a minor DLC for us, let the people flood back into this game as well, and then decide from that point on where they're going to go. Are they going to go with an RDR3? A lot of people think that they are. A lot of higher ups think that they are. A lot of people are predicting that they will. And so maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know one way or another. All I can tell you is I'm going to play with what I've got. I'm going to hope for the best. I'm going to continue on with Red Dead. I will be here until one of two things happen. Either they have a dying day or I have a dying day. Now, the chances are it's more likely that it's going to be me that's doing the dying, not them. So I'm going to get as much time into this game as I possibly can. But there's a lot of, let's see, they needed to pay as much attention to this as they did. Yeah, I agree with you, Holden. I totally agree with that. But there's a lot of factors. No, listen, this is the only factor, okay? This is the only factor. The only factor is paying attention to the board of directors and putting some profit in their pocket and not abandoning a game that they've spent $750 million on and then walk away from it to go on some other, hell-bent idea of creating GTA 6. When in fact, GTA has been around for about 15 years. Well, for that matter, I guess so is Red Dead. But they've never really paid the attention to Red Dead that they have GTA. Imagine if they had. This would be a rocking game. So, in the last 8 years. Well, I mean, that's the same here, Holden. The overtime is the same thing here. Now, I can tell you that Rockstar got in a little bit of trouble because they worked their entire crew on more than one occasion, 100 hours a week to get this done. And then obviously the people complain about it. They go to the labor board, they get a hold of whoever they get a hold of, and they come in and they slap Rockstar on the wrist and they say, you can't do that. You got to give the people the rest that they need. It's not right. It's not fair. And by the way, it's against the law. So they had to pull back and do that. But all companies have to do that these days. That's nothing new to the business industry. They're aware of that. So, yeah, let them go take and well, I'll give you an example. When I was a service director for a multi-franchised automobile dealership, what I said to the owner was a guy by the name of Dick Wolf, and I said to him, Mr. Wolf, this is what I think. I think that we can expand our business here by taking and working a 4-day week. And when we work a 4-day week, what we're going to do is we're going to split the crew. One crew is going to work the first 4 days. The next crew is going to work a offset 4 days. And then we can actually incorporate, which we don't have now, a Saturday. And if you really wanted to, a Sunday, but certainly a Saturday when people have off. And we could take and we can actually service the people and make more money. And we did that. And boy, did it ever work. We did that with a Ford line. We did it with the Toyota line. We did it with the Datsun line. We did it with, what was the other one we had? Nissan. We did it with those 4 lines of automobiles. And it worked out perfectly. Well, they could do the same thing here. They could do the same thing creating games. Just have some staggered teams working. And that way they've always momentum working forward. There's a point in the week whereby both teams are working at the same time. That's a real influx of work, and then it just spreads out. Listen, so many things can be done. Yeah, so many things can be done. That's right. And hey, look, $750 million to develop this game. They got it back on the very first weekend of sales. The very first weekend of sales. Now, come on. I mean, they're back to square one in the first 2-3 days of sale. It's amazing. Quite frankly, old business compared to new business. And when I say old business, I'm talking about 60s and 70s versus the new century, and we're 25 years into the new century. There isn't even the remote comparison. Not the remote. There is no respect given to consumers whatsoever. None. Because they just say, I lose one, I'll gain another. Well, back in the day, nobody ever wanted to lose a customer. They were too hard to get, so they went out of their way to please them and appease them. So please and appease in order to keep them with them, and then continue to build accordingly until you all of a sudden got boom. And why do you think they came up with monopoly laws back in my day? It's because that's what was happening. There were certain companies that were going out of their way to do those types of things, bringing people into their business field, whereby the government was saying, you know what? You're not giving the other guy a chance. You own it all. So therefore, we're going to come out with these laws that are going to prohibit you from capitalizing on your quality ability to bring customers over and actually owning it all. So they just come out with the laws that kept them from doing that. You cannot monopolize. So there you have it. That's all I got. I got no more. God dang it. Gee willikers. I just don't. Now, Cripps. Look, Cripps has been going. Look at old Crippy. Old Crippy here. He's got some material. I'm going to go ahead and give him some more feathers. Mind you now, 19 feathers? Well, that's 95 XP on those 19 feathers. How about these 14? These 14 feathers right here? Well, I'll tell you what, that's another 70 XP. Or these 5. Yep, these 5. What are they going to bring? Another 25 XP. 5 XP per feather. 23 feathers right here. 23 feathers. And what's that going to bring us? 115 XP. That's a lot of XP, folks, that I just turned in with feathers and feathers alone. I have nothing on its back. We've got it right there. There's a delivery that I need to do. And what have you. Now, listen, I could talk back and forth about Rockstar all day long. In fact, I do. Because when I get done with the stream, I go bend Lisa's ear. She's all for Rockstar as well. She's into it big time, just as much as I am. All right, daily challenges. Well, I didn't have any of those done. Holden, the thing is, bro, Roxanne. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, listen, I have my views upon unions as well, and contracts and things of that nature. For example, the unions. When unions first began, they were designed to help the worker, and they did because business was taking advantage of the employee. Now what you're finding that it is reversed. Business is the employee is taking advantage of the employer. So it's a two-way street. There needs to be a balance somewhere in between. You've got the ebb and flow. Initially, it was the business that was in control. Then it swung over to the employee. They were in control. Now it's back and forth. Unions, I think that there's a place for them sometimes. But I think that if you're a good partner, as an employer to your employee, you don't need unions because you're doing the right thing by the people are doing the right thing by you, and everybody is happy, and you're growing. And as you grow and make more money, you disseminate some of that money to the lower ranks, and they too are making more money, and they're happy doing it, which will take and stimulate them to work that much harder for you as an employer. So, it's just amazing. But, you've got, a lot of people are saying that the new generation, they don't even want to work. Well, I think that they're right. But as always, I can't throw every single person into that category because there's always an exception to the rule. No, Rockstar, you're right there, Holden. Rockstar is not a good partner. You're absolutely right about that. 100 games. Why I always keep... Well, why do you, Vortex? Tell us, why is it that out of 100 games that you have and that you've played, why is it that you keep missing Red Dead and you keep coming back to Red Dead? What is it that draws you back here over all of the other games? Well, I can give you a reason why that they have neglected Rockstar or Red Dead Redemption is because they did this game so well that there are so many people that regardless of all of the problems within the game in the way of gremlins and glitches and problems and so on and so forth, the game is loved so much that they'll come in and they'll deal with it. They'll work with the workarounds and so on and so forth. Just imagine this. Forget the DLCs. Forget Rockstar coming back and creating more content. Imagine if they come back and they just fixed what was here. With all of the different things that are in the game that would be on a rotating basis, it would be on a clock timed basis where first one thing would come into play. It would be spawned, and then another thing would spawn, and then another thing. There are so many things out there right now that we have in this game that do not spawn often enough that if it did spawn, we would be so busy doing all of the different things that there are to do here in Rockstar, you couldn't imagine it. You wouldn't even need another DLC, although another DLC would be great. Don't get me wrong. Let's see. No, let's see. Well, I mean, look, the fact of the matter is that GTA, they have laws that they have to fall within, and you've got Rockstar the UK, you've got Rockstar New York, you've got Rockstar West Coast or Los Angeles, wherever it is, but it's West Coast, East Coast, UK. There are other ones out there as well. So they all have their issues and they all have their problems to deal with, but there's no reason why they can't overcome those problems, work things out in a very logical manner that helps out the people. And I'll tell you why, because I feel this way. I spend money on this game. My wife spends money on this game. My son spends money on this game. And therefore, we expect something for our money. And we're not getting all that we've been paying for. So in theory, in practical theory, pragmatically speaking, we are being robbed every month because we're paying money for a game that is supposed to be functioning at 100%, and it's far from functioning at 100%. So therefore, we're being ripped off. We're being ripped off. But you know what? I'm willing to be ripped off for the game because I love the game so much. Yeah. Listen, I went over to GTA. I tried to play GTA when it very first came out. I didn't like it. I didn't like it then. Many GTA years went by. A friend of mine in the game that I play with regularly on Red Dead with says, I play GTA. Why don't you come play GTA? And I'll tell you what, badass. What you can do is you can learn the game, and when GTA 6 comes out, you can start streaming GTA 6. I says, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I'll take a second look at it. So what I did is I went over, thank you T-Bones for that. I went over to GTA. I started playing with him, and I told myself I was going to play with him every single night for a month and see where it went. Well, I went over there and I played with him every single night for well over a month, and finally got to the point where I just said, I can't do it anymore. I don't like the game. I don't like the premise. I don't like the underlying current to the game. I don't like much about it at all. And talk about toxic. GTA is extremely toxic until such time as they put in the private lobbies. Once they put the private lobbies in, well, then you've got a choice. You can go play alone, you can go play with friends, or you can play free roam, so to speak. But, well, anyway, I tried it. I don't like it. I can't do it. The one game that I wanted to stream, which is State of Decay, I go over and I find out, well, it's coming, but it never came. And then I heard, well, it's coming again, and it still didn't come. And now I've recently read that it will be lucky if we have it in 2026. So that's out the window. So now you take and you go on to some of these other games. They're childish, kiddish type games. Not interested in it. Or everything is timed. You have to do something within a certain period of time. And if you don't do it within that certain period of time, then you have to do it over again and over again and over again before you can move on. Not interested in that either. I want to make my own choices along the way based upon what I feel that I enjoy. And there's so much to Rockstar that this game, Red Dead Redemption, that I enjoy, and there are a few things that I don't enjoy. But even the things that I don't enjoy, I go in and I do them once in a while. Not very often, but once in a while, I'll do that. So that's my rant. That's my rant as far as Rockstar goes. And so Miss Rizzard took out a petition to sign and send on to Rockstar. We both talked and we said that 10,000 should be the number. Don't submit the petition until it reaches at least 10,000, and then move on to the next segment, which is going to their support link and going in and sending them a message through. And mind you, now they're asking for you to do this. Come in, tell us what it is that you like or don't like. Tell us where we can make improvements or something. Go down to the bottom of the list that's there. Click on the box that's right there. Type in something that you would like Rockstar to do. Mainly, come back and pay us some attention, and then send that off to them. And hopefully we'll get some response. I'm hoping the squeaky wheel will get the grease. And in fact, I just squeak it up big time. Taco Bandit 84. Do you have any ideas or wishes for Red Dead 3 if it was ever made? Yeah, I do. Obviously, we expected in this game, and it was right on the verge of happening, but then it didn't. That is hard properties. Hard properties. I would like to be able to buy a ranch and work a ranch, whether it be a ranch for cattle, a ranch for horses, something like that. If I go to St. Denis, I would like to have been able to buy a room at one of the hotels in there, so that when I went to St. Denis, I could go into that room and change up or do whatever I need to do. Kind of like camp here, of course, only it was through a room in a hotel, or maybe buy a cabin up in the woods so that I could go fishing or hunting. In my case, and I would be doing that obviously with my partner here, Lace and Pistols, of course, and we would be doing that. What else would we be doing? Maybe there could be some wrangling. Maybe you go out and you catch wild horses. You bring them in. You take and train them, and then take them to market and sell them as tamed horses to, who knows, the military or some stable master. What is it? Yeah. I mean, how about the fact that, watch this, folks. Watch this. How about the fact that we could take and... how about if we could go into our tent and literally lay down on our cot and rejuvenate? That would be cool. Well, I mean, there's so many other things. How about becoming a marshal and chasing down bad guys on a regular basis? Now, I absolutely love chasing player bounties. And I have, as of today, this morning, I've actually turned in 743 player bounties since they come out. So I'm working towards that. Or how about being able to hold hands with your woman, with your girl in this game? How about being able to do that? That would be nice. That would be really nice. There are games out there that you can actually do that in. I mean, that could be something that you could do. Let's see, what else? I mean, maybe go into Manzanita Post and buy some things at Manzanita Post. I mean, there's just so many different directions that they could have gone in. I'm trying to think of some others right offhand. I don't know. I mean, there's just so many things. I can think of 1,000 things when I'm just laying around, just enjoying myself, thinking about the game, of all of the things that can be done. But when you call me up to say, what would you like? I mean, these are the things that just pop into my head right offhand immediately. But I like the idea that we have a 24-hour period of time. I like the daylight hours that we have. I like the idea of the lunar cycle that we're in. I love the idea that the animals hunt animals. Maybe we could have some more animals. I don't know. Um, I mean, it goes on and on, folks. I would like to have saddlebags whereby I can have, instead of 5 or 7, depending upon the saddlebags that you have, maybe you can have 10. And I mean, if we've got hundreds of pieces of clothes, thousands of pieces of clothing, why can't we have them stored someplace else other than in our wardrobe? The wardrobe is nice. Maybe have 14 or 15 outfits that we can carry on our horse. Although I suppose back in the Western days that wouldn't make sense because they wouldn't carry that many. There you go, Corey. Yeah. I mean, brothels were big back in the day. How about if you were a saloon owner? How about if you were a saloon owner and you bought your drinks from the moonshine shack, maybe from Maggie or somebody like that, and then you brought the drinks in and you were able to sell the drinks to people that came into your saloon and wanted a drink. And maybe they could have, in addition to dancing, maybe they could have, I don't know, maybe for some of you people, maybe pole dancing? I don't know. I'm just saying. That's a possibility. I mean, cattle, maybe raising cattle. Alpha Wolf would probably love that. I mean, he's a cattle rancher out in Colorado. He's a true sense of the word, of cowboy. His family, they own a cattle ranch out there. Maybe he'd like to do that here. Maybe you want to be a sheep farmer, Maybe you'll be a sheep farmer, and we'll have that clash between the sheep and cattle and fencing in the areas that are there. Lots of different things. Lots and lots of different things. I don't know. As I say, it could go on and on. And I don't think that it would take all that much to do that. What I do find is simply this. With all of the people out there that run these modded games, their ability to create and their thought process of where they're going with what it is that they create is absolutely spectacular. So if it's spectacular for them and they can do it so easily, they do it in just a matter of what seems like minutes. It's probably a lot longer than that, but nonetheless they produce it on a very rapid basis. Why can't Rockstar do that? I say go ahead and hire some of these people to work for them, and see what they can do for them. I think that it would be a great thing along the way. RYU Ironsides, good day to you, sir. Pleased that you're here. Hope all is well with you. RYU Ironside, yes, sir. Taco Bandit is here. The possibilities and potentials for this game are endless. Oh, I tell you what, how about something like this? I love the idea of the stables. I love the idea of horses. I love the idea of racing. Let's suppose, for example, you're going to a horse race. Well, I'll tell you what, you want that horse to get some traction, and you don't want him slipping and sliding around, so you change his horseshoes to a horseshoe that is more suitable for racing. How about that? So that you could be a blacksmith. Or how about the fact that you could take and you had to maintain your wagons through maintenance like we have to maintain our horses. Things of that nature. Maybe somebody wants to run a grocery store. It just goes on and on and on. And as far as I'm concerned, well, Lace says no guns in racing. Yeah, and I can agree with that. But here's the deal. Way back when, in the very beginning, Rockstar created an area whereby you could go in and you could select only the things that you wanted to do. You would check, okay, I only want point-to-point races. I don't want target races, so you leave them out. And that was in place to work. And it's broke. It's never, ever worked. Not from the time that they created it. It hasn't worked. So maybe fix that. That in itself would take a lot of people, and they say, I'm not going into racing whereby there are griefers in there and they're constantly shooting. Who ever heard of a horse race where you can pull out a gun and shoot somebody in the back of the head? You know what I'm saying? That just doesn't happen. I love horse racing. It's one of the things that I specialize in, but I don't like the shooting that goes on in horse racing. I want to race the horses for the thrill of the race. I want that going on. That's what I'm looking for. I want to be able to maybe join up with another group. Maybe you can expand your posse. That would be kind of nice to be able to expand your posse from 7 to 10 or 12 or something like that. Maybe even get into something whereby I, as a posse leader, can align with another posse leader in the one lobby, and we can do some things together. We could have competitions against each other, some fair competitions, not lopsided competitions where people use different cheats and god modes and invisibility and off radar and lag switching and Cronus and those things. And be able to, ban those damn things. And Roxanne should be able to do that so that we don't have to deal with that as players. It's crazy to have to deal with that as players. It's just not right. It's not right for the people that want to come in and play the game lineal. And if you play the game linearly, then what you're doing is you're moving from A to Z. You're not getting hung up in one particular area, just getting yourself killed constantly by people that are not just griefing, but are griefing with cheat modes in place. How awesome would that be, is to be able to eliminate them. And what you would have is you would have people coming in to play the game for what the game is, what have you. Now, there are some people that want to come in and fight all the time. Well, that's okay. That's okay, as long as you go fight in the areas that you can go fight in and not drag people in kicking and screaming to the game that you as a fighter wants to play when I as a non-fighter don't want to play. So that's the way that you have it. Now, I'll give you an example. I have a extremely good kill ration to deaths. But I don't want to use it on other people. I want to play the game linearly. But when I get confronted, then I'll go about doing it. I'll go about doing what I have to do to stay alive, so to speak. And so that's one area that you can go in. For me, personally, I like coming into the game and playing all aspects of this game. All the aspects, some more than others, obviously. We got a blueberry out there. I'm just keeping an eye on him. Make sure that he is not one of those griefers that we were talking about. Now, I like playing this game. I like collecting belt buckles. I like collecting medallions. I've got, for example, 600 of the 657 that are available. So I still got 57 to go in order to be able to knock that out. And the fact of the matter is I will not live long enough to do that because some of them are so detailed and so complicated. Now there's multiple players out there. But to show you how insanely intense I am about playing this game, I'm a numbers freak, so to speak. Details. Now I'm watching this guy here. I was going to show you something here, but I want to keep an eye on this guy because, camps aren't as safe as they used to be. They're just not. People can lasso you and drag you out of camp. People can actually shoot you from outside of camp while you're inside camp.
No pun intended.
And I'm just keeping an eye on these guys. I've got one to my left, one to my right. I really don't expect any trouble, but the only way to not expect trouble is to be aware of who's around you and be ready for trouble if it occurs. So that type of thing. But what I was going to get to is I am so anal with this game. I have dozens of these books. Dozens of these books. Now I'm going to look below the book to see if it shows up. All right, you can see all of the writing in the book, and you can turn the page, and there's some more. It doesn't matter where you go in the book. We can open it to some more pages right there. And, there's writing and notes on both pages. I have dozens of these. Dozens of these books. When the game first began, I still have them today. I still use them every day. I use them because I write out my dailies so that I don't have to constantly do drop downs to look at them. I can, during a black screen or during a transition, I can look down at my worksheet and say, oh, I've still got this to do, that to do, and this to do, and be able to do it without having to use the drop down. And it kind of speeds things up when I'm playing by myself. So I've got literally dozens of those, and I kept track of people that were griefers. I can tell you all kinds of things. I can tell you where the chipmunks are. I can tell you where they pee under the tree. I can tell you where the ducks are. I can tell you all of the hills, whether they're ducks or geese, whether there's a combination of them. I can tell you all of that stuff because I noted it, and that's how I learned to play the game. I still put notes in the pad you sent me, says Slayer Brooks. Well, there you go. There you go. You know, put your notes in, work the game, and that doesn't mean that you have to work this game according to the way that Rockstar wants you to use it. That's just a suggestion. Think outside of the box. Do your own thing. Play your own game. You know, take for example, I come over here and I go down to pinned. You know, I have certain things here that I constantly keep track of where I'm at. You know, and what I'm doing. And where I'm going with it. And usually I have a lot more than what's here. I just haven't got in to refresh what it is that I'm doing. But at some point I will do that. And it goes on and on and on. So that's what I do. That's the way I play the game. And then I got involved in streaming, and now streaming is it's a different thing altogether. Now all of a sudden, you know, we're streaming on, we try streaming on TikTok, and that works out okay, but not great. And we switch over to Twitch, that works beautifully, but I have to change internets, so I did. But now all of a sudden I can't use TikTok. But eventually I know that fiber optics is coming. Fiber optics is finally here, so we're able to now stream on Twitch, TikTok, and YouTube all at the same time, without any lags, without any pauses. It's just working beautifully. Being able to use all of these overlays and things of that nature. I do it for me. I do it for you. Because if I'm going to do this, I want to do something that is enjoyable. Not only to me, but to you as well. And I have always said to everybody out there, if you've got any ideas on what we can do to make this game more interesting, then by all means, send me a DM, send me a private message, give me a call on the telephone. It doesn't matter. I talk Red Dead all day long. I could do that. Yes, I could. And by the way, speaking of new things coming up, We've got some challenges. Go over to our Discord, take a look at our Discord, and right now we've got Slaughter on the Water coming up in a couple of weeks, whereby you're going to be able to go out into some steamboats, and one steamboat of people versus another steamboat of people, kind of a last man standing type thing, and you win a prize for being the winner, the overall winner of the competition. We've got all kinds of things going on. We have call to arms going on. We have kart racing going on. We have triathlons going on. We have boxing matches going on, although we haven't done that in some time. But it just goes on and on and on. And yeah, that's where we're at. I'm kind of spent out right now just on talking about this game, but I get excited about this game. I really do. You know, how about this wagon right here? How about being able to do a little bit more with the wagon? How about the ability to take a wagon, whether it be this wagon or another wagon that you have in camp, and you could load up some extra pelts on it, maybe some fat, some for E-rounds. Things of that nature. That would be great. Yeah, rooftop rumble. There you go. We did some rooftop rumbling. We could do that again. That's probably in the near future, is to come back around on some of these things. Let's see. I don't know. I mean, for me, I would like to, for example, be able to take this damn campfire that I've got, and I'd like to go back to just the campfire. This is the deluxe campfire, but I don't like it at all, even though you can cook faster with it and you can do all of those types of things. For me, it's nothing but aesthetic clutter in the game, and it's a lot of clutter trying to get around sometimes and what have you. So I'd like to be able to go in and delete it, but I can't. So we should have the option to be able to go in and delete. Or how about when we're done with a horse, we're able to sell it back to Rockstar for maybe $20 20 cents on the dollar, maybe 10 cents on the dollar, but something rather than nothing, rather than just delete it, rather than just put it out to pasture, sell it, that type of thing. Maybe some interactions between people in the game, maybe monetarily, maybe bank-wise, maybe, who knows, whatever we could think of there. Not sure. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That was fun. All right, well, our viewer numbers are up, so maybe that ranting and raving draws people in. Not sure, but those are my ideas on the game. I think we have, I'll tell you another thing I would like to have weather conditions that are a little bit more accurate insofar as snow. Like when we have snow during the Christmas season. We have snow for 30 days and you can't go anywhere without the snow. How about the fact that, just like in real life, you don't always have snow. And sometimes it can melt back to nothing but plush green grass type thing, or brown grass, depending, and be able to ride around without the snow. And then a snowstorm comes in. Maybe we deal with a hurricane, or maybe it'll be a tropical storm. Now we do have a dust storm that occurs down in Armadillo, but it's a minor one. And obviously we have thunderstorms. I don't see why we couldn't have a hurricane blow through, and it upsets your wagon and it upsets your camp, and you have to do some rebuilding. And that rebuilding costs money. So you do that, and that all depends upon the luck of where you position your camp, and whether that tornado, that hurricane, comes in randomly speaking. And that would be kind of fun to do that. Major lag, yeah. Snow when it's 82, yeah. Not snow when it's 82 degrees. Exactly. Yeah, tornadoes. I would like to see some Native Americans in this game. And maybe the Native Americans they're kind of like the gangs here. They just are constantly at odds. However, you might be able to go and negotiate a peace treaty with them. You and only your group. And then over a period of time, it runs out. I mean, come on, it's just never ending with this. It could be spectacular. Here's a game that could be spectacular without a whole lot of effort. And personally, I believe that GTA is a whole lot of effort, and it's just not a game for me. Never has been, never will be, as much as I try. And everybody that knows me knows that I get kind of quirky. It's like, for example, I can't stand the bolt action. I can't stand that bolt action rifle because the timing of it is just so odd for me. It shoots well, but the loading of it is just really, really crazy for me. I don't particularly care for that. So I've put it away and I'll never use it again. As much as I've tried to use it, I just can't get used to it. I'd sooner have something like the Springfield. It might be slower, but it has a rhythm to it. Kaboom, 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 kaboom. And it loads the same way every single time. So that's what I like. All right, so that's it. I guess I've yapped on long enough, and it's now time for me to go join the real life. I've got plenty to do out there in real life. Now listen, I thank all the raiders today. We had 66 raiders today. 36 of them came from CTIA, and 30 of them came from Mzon Stream. Mzon Stream. And I thank both raiders for bringing in any of their raiding party, any of their gang members. Thank you so much for being here. I would like to be able to reciprocate at some point, but Rockstar made it difficult for us to, not Rockstar, but Twitch made it difficult for us to go in and pick somebody that is streaming and raid them. It's not as easy as it used to be. And so there you have it. Things just keep getting made more complicated. And speaking of that, I got one last thing to rave about. One last thing to bitch about, okay? I just got, are there any online? Are you kidding me? Are there any online achievements for this? For what? There's online achievements for online, absolutely. Belt buckles, medallions, the completion of different events. Oh my God, yes. There's just so much going on. You need to be here. That's what you need to be. All right, you need to be here. And you can hear my phone ringing. I don't answer the phone when I'm on Rockstar. I don't care who it is. All right, this one last thing I wanted to complain about. About a year and a half ago, I lose track of time. Maybe it was even longer. We had a massive DLC. And that massive DLC came from Microsoft. And it was regarding communications. And prior to that DLC, I never had any trouble with communications whatsoever. I could be in party chat. I could be in gang chat. Or I could be in like a free roam chat, for lack of better terms. And it came just as easy as can be. But since we got this download from Microsoft that was supposed to fix all of our communication problems, I have had nothing but problems with communicating with people. There's constantly problems. And, I just don't get stuff like that either. But anyway, that's my bitching. Thank you all so very, very much for being here. Thank you, TikTokers. Thank you, YouTubers. Thank you, Twitchers. Appreciate you all so very much. We'll be back here tomorrow morning.